On today's episode of Enzyme Tales, we'll be telling the story of the Superoxide brothers from the cytosol, with one question to bear in mind. Will the brothers find love? The first superoxide brother is extra negative with an extra electron and heartbroken, thinking, will he ever find love? He goes to his good friends, superoxide dismutase, aka Histidina and Cooper, to rant about his broken heart. Cooper asks the superoxide brother to spill the tea, and so the brother proceeds to spew his negativity onto Cooper, donating him his extra electron. This makes the brother feel super good, and in that moment, he spots her. Arginina. It was love at first sight, and he couldn't help but feel an electric bond forming between them. As soon as he approached her, he said, "Hey, sweet cheeks. Let's get away from this horrible active site and get a breath of fresh air." Arginina says, "But I don't even know your name." "Call me Oxygen," the brother says as he reaches for her hand and they leave the active site. The second brother, full of jealousy and the negativity of the extra electron flowing through his veins, is feeling radical. He spots Cooper feeling partially negative, who spills the tea about his brother finding love. This news was enough to transfer the negative electron from Cooper onto the second brother, which gave light to his other intentions. The second brother now feels extra negative with the need to one-up his brother. That's when he spotted the elite hazelnut twins from the royal hydrogen family. They had already bonded with Histidina and Roxy from the hydro family. However, the superoxide brother was not worried one bit because deep down he knew that their positivity would be attracted to his strong negativity. He pulls the hazelnut twins towards him and says, "I couldn't help but feel like there's chemistry between us." The twins couldn't help but feel the same way. However, they knew forming this bond would be toxic, creating hydrogen peroxide, and they would have to live their lives on the run from the Royal Guard catalase. Histidina and Cooper were finally reunited, and Water threw a party to end this episode on a positive note. Into the mechanism. In the first step, histidine 63 is in its resting state and is negatively charged and electrostatically bound to the copper 2+ ion. This is represented by the green lines. It is also electrostatically bound to the zinc 2+ ion that holds the histidine 63 in place, preventing the rotation of the imidazole ring, which keeps the structure in a planar state. The zinc 2+ ion also raises the pKa of the nitrogen to be around 13, ensuring that protonation will always occur at physiological pH. Superoxide then donates an electron to the copper 2+ ion. This is represented by a half arrow as only one electron is being donated. This turns the superoxide into molecular oxygen. The molecular oxygen is then electrostatically attracted to arginine 143 and diffuses out of the active site. The molecular oxygen is then replaced by a hydronium ion that donates a proton to the histidine 63 and breaks the histidine bridge. This is forming a covalent bond. The covalent bond between the nitrogen and the hydrogen leaves a protonated tautomer of histidine behind. It is important to note that the reduction of the copper 2+ ion into a copper+ ion breaks the electrostatic interaction between the copper and the imidazole ring, allowing the protonation of the histidine 63. The second step occurs when the second molecule of superoxide enters the active site cavity. This is because 2 molecules of superoxide are required for the catalysis. Copper+ donates an electron to the superoxide, which then allows this electron pair to hydrogen bond with the protonated nitrogen, returning it to its anionic state. The negatively charged side is also protonated by a water molecule at the same time. This sets off a chain of water molecule proton extractions that relay protons to the active site until a hydroxyl ion extracts a proton off of the hydronium ion. This replenishes the protons used to form hydrogen peroxide. The neutral hydrogen peroxide is displaced from the active site by a water molecule, and the superoxide dismutase is returned to its initial state, with the electrostatic interactions reforming the histidine bridge of the nitrogen and the copper 2+ ion. After the catalysis, the products that are formed is the superoxide dismutase catalyst, hydrogen peroxide, which is also toxic to the body, but it has its own catalyst called catalase, which is the catalytic enzyme that breaks down the hydrogen peroxide in the body, and molecular oxygen is also formed. To summarize, the superoxide brothers had gone on a mission to find love. The first brother met the love of his life, Arginina, and became a changed man, Oxygen. The second brother bonded with the hazelnut twins, forming toxic hydrogen peroxide, and lived as a fugitive, all with the help of the enzyme superoxide dismutase, aka histidina in Cooper.